Stop scrolling. That ordinary Jefferson nickel sitting in your pocket could be worth a shocking fortune. Some Monticello Thomas Jefferson Nickels have sold for incredible amounts, and one rare example could potentially change your life. So before you spend your next nickel, watch closely. In this video, I'll reveal exactly what to look for, the dates, errors, and mint marks that could turn 5 cents into a millionaire's payday. Imagine standing at a crossroads. To your left, a path walked by millions, the path of the spender. To your right, a path less traveled, the path of the collector, the observer, the one who sees beyond the surface. In your hand, you hold a thin metal disc worth exactly 5 cents. It's the sound of a soda machine, the forgotten change in a coat pocket. But what if I told you that right now, in this very moment, you could be holding more than pocket change? What if you're holding a ghost? A coin so rare, so shrouded in mystery, that its discovery could rewrite your financial future. We're talking about the 1964 Jefferson nickel with no mint mark. But not just any nickel. We're talking about the one that numismatists call the special strike, a coin so elusive it remained a secret for nearly 30 years. While you've been spending them, someone else has been searching for them, waiting for the day a piece of history worth up to $777,000 passes through their hands. The question is, are you ready to stop seeing nickels as 5 cents and start seeing them as an inheritance? Let's dive into the mystery. The year is 1964. America is in the throes of a major coin shortage. The U.S. Mint is working around the clock, 7 days a week, producing billions of coins to keep the economy afloat. In Philadelphia alone, they minted over 1 billion nickels without a mint mark. So, why would a coin from the busiest mint year in history be rare? Because hidden amongst those billions was a tiny, almost mythological batch. These were the 1964 Special Strike Nickels. For nearly 3 decades, their existence was completely unknown. It wasn't until 1993 that they appeared, seemingly out of thin air, at a Stax coin auction. The entire collection, which included other Special Strike coins, was consigned by a man named Lester Merkin. But here's where the story gets truly incredible. It is believed that Merkin acquired them from his friend, a woman named Eva Adams. Who was Eva Adams? She was the director of the United States Mint from 1961 to 1969. The very woman running the facility from which they were struck is the source of this clandestine treasure. To this day, no one knows exactly why these were made. They are not proof coins, nor are they business strikes. They were experiments, prototypes for a special mint set program that wouldn't officially exist for a few years. But the craftsmanship is undeniable. These nickels don't look like the pocket change you're used to. They are characterized by an incredibly sharp strike, a satin-like finish that shimmers, and, most importantly, sharp, square edges on the rims. It's like comparing a sketch to a high-definition photograph. The depth, the clarity, the precision, it is the work of a master engraver, not a tired mint worker just trying to hit a quota. Stop right now. I want you to do something. Think about that jar of coins on your dresser, or that old shoebox in your closet. When was the last time you looked at them? Really looked? You see, most people look at a nickel and see a few cents. They see a date and a building. But a collector sees a story. They see potential. They see the intricate details on Monticello. This is where the value lies, specifically in a feature called full steps. At the base of Monticello, there are 6 steps leading up to the building. On a normal coin, these are often blurry or mushed together. But on a special strike, they are razor sharp. In fact, some of the most valuable modern nickels are those with the full steps designation. The mint mark, or lack thereof, is just the beginning. It's the physical quality of the coin that separates the mundane from the magnificent. Now, let's talk about the market. What is this ghost worth? The value is astronomical. The PCGS, the leading authority on coin grading, estimates that only 1 or 2 dozen of these 1964 Special Strike Jefferson Nickels are known to exist. In the world of collectibles, that rarity is the engine of value. We have seen these coins command incredible prices at auction, ranging from $8,000 for a lower grade specimen to over $15,000, even reaching up to $32,000 for a perfect example. But the price is a moving target. The market for ultra-rare coins is hotter than ever. With inflation concerns and a growing interest in tangible assets, collectors are willing to pay a premium for the best of the best. The $777,000 figure isn't just a fantasy. It represents the potential ceiling for this coin in the near future. It represents the fear of missing out, the thrill of the chase, and the reality that true wealth is often found in the places we overlook. Are you ready to stop overlooking? Are you willing to take the time to look, to observe, to see the square edges, the satin finish, and the undeniably sharp strike that could change your life? You are holding a piece of American history in your hand. It weighs precisely 5 grams, is made of 75% copper and 25% nickel, and in 1974, over 600 million of these were struck at the Philadelphia Mint. They're the ghosts of commerce, the unwanted guests in the cash register, the coins you find in old coffee cans. But what if I told you that hidden amongst this sea of copper-nickel banality lies a treasure so rare, so shrouded in mystery, that it could be worth more than a house in the suburbs? I'm talking about a specific ghost, the 1974 no-mint marked Jefferson Nickel. Hold that thought. Wait. Pause the video right now. No, seriously, pause this and go find that jar of pocket change you've been ignoring. I'll wait. Did you find it? Good. Now, look at the date on every nickel you see. 1974. No mint mark over there, to the right of Jefferson's ponytail. If you have one, you're looking at the battlefield of value. Because today, we are separating the spenders from the collectors. We're going on a treasure hunt. Most people look at this coin and see a nickel. They see a soda or a gumball. But you're about to see something else entirely. You are about to see the potential for an $832,000 payday. This is the story of the 1974 no-mint mark nickel, the mint errors that turned pennies into palaces, and why the next 5 minutes might change the way you look at your pocket change forever. The 1974 no-mint mark nickel. Just hearing the phrase sounds like a riddle, doesn't it? It should. It is a ghost in the machine of the United States Mint. The no-mint mark refers to the fact that this coin was struck in Philadelphia. In 1974, if it didn't have a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco, it came for Philly. That makes it standard, right? By the numbers, yes. But the devil, as they say, is in the details. This coin is the canvas. But the value isn't in the canvas itself. The value is in the paint splatters, the errors. You see, the 1974 nickel is a warning sign. It's a coin that warns you not to judge a book by its cover. I'm talking about the famous overstruck errors. Imagine this. A 1974 nickel somehow gets fed into the press twice. Or worse, it gets stamped over a 1973 nickel. This is known as a double denomination or a dual date strike. It's as if the mint itself had a glitch in the matrix. The 1973 date, the old design, they bleed through the new strike. This error is so captivating that it made it into the book 100 Greatest U.S. Error Coins. That's like making the Hall of Fame for mistakes. In 2010, experts valued these unique specimens at $15,000 to $17,000. But that's just the appetizer. Let's talk about the other anomalies. The full steps designation. This is a grading term that separates the men from the boys. Look closely at Monticello on the reverse. Look at the steps leading up to the house. Do you see 6 distinct, unbroken horizontal lines? If you do, you have a 6FS, a 6 full steps nickel. Most 1974 nickels didn't get a full strike from the press. The metal didn't flow perfectly into the die. So, a clear set of steps is the sign of a perfect strike. A coin graded MS65 with 6FS is worth 10 to 20 times the value of a standard MS65. And a standard MS65? That's worth about $5. See the multiplier effect there? But this is where it gets serious. We aren't just talking about a few $100s. We're talking about the big leagues. We're talking about the $832,000 question. How we get from 5 cents to nearly $1 million. It's about the planchet, the metal disc the coin is made from. If the planchet is wrong, the value is right. We're talking about massive errors. Think about a 1974D nickel, struck not on a standard 5-gram planchet, but on a copper cent planchet. It's the wrong metal, the wrong size, the wrong weight. One sold for over $500 in 2020. But imagine if that error was combined with the no mint mark from Philly. Imagine if the strike was perfect. The scarcity compounds. Let's look at the historical data. You have major auction houses like Heritage Auctions tracking these rarities. You have the broad-struck errors, where the coin is struck without a collar to hold its shape, causing the metal to spread out like a pancake. You have off-center strikes, clip planchets, and die cracks. The value of these coins skyrockets based on the severity and rarity of the mistake. The Gray Sheet, a Bible for coin dealers, lists a 1974 nickel on an underweight planchet with scratches as a notable item. In the world of numismatics, the imperfections are the holy grail. Now, I need you to reset your focus, because here is the confrontation. We've been conditioned to think that value is obvious. Gold is yellow, diamonds are clear, but the real hidden wealth? It's subtle. It's hiding in plain sight. The 1974 no mint mark nickel is a sleeper coin. It doesn't look special. It doesn't sparkle. But to an expert eye, the minute details, the metal flow, the sharpness of the strike, the shadows of a previous date, are as obvious as a scream in a silent room. Consider this. What would you do if you found a coin worth $1 million in a roll of nickels from a bank? The excitement, the adrenaline, the fear of losing it, the thrill of the hunt. That is the numismatist's high. This isn't just about coins. It's about the American dream. It's about the idea that anyone, anywhere, can stumble upon a fortune. And that is the resolution here. The market is hot for these error coins. The number of high-grade 1974 nickels with full steps and unique errors is finite. The mintage was massive, but the survivors in perfect condition are a fraction of a percent. The call to action is simple and urgent. Look again. Don't just look, study. If you suspect you have a rare specimen, don't clean it. Don't rub it. Don't touch the face. A single scratch can slash the value by thousands of dollars. Get a magnifying glass. Compare it to images online. And if you have a 1974 nickel that seems a little off, a little thin, a little heavy, a little double-struck, get it graded by PCGS or NGC. That certification is the golden ticket. It's the difference between a $5 curiosity and an $832,000 payday. You are holding a coin in your hand. It is worth exactly 5 cents. Or is it? What if I told you that the piece of pocket change currently sitting in your car's cup holder or buried at the bottom of that jar on your dresser could be a ghost worth nearly $1 million? We are talking about the 1996p mint mark Monticello Jefferson Nickel. Stop scrolling. Look at your hands. Are you a spender or are you a collector? That is the defining question of modern numismatics. Most people see a nickel and think of gum or the laundromat. But the true collector sees the potential for a $921,000 lottery ticket. Imagine the life that cash could buy. The debt cleared. The dream car in the garage. The legacy left for your family. All from a coin that weighs exactly 5 grams. This is not just a coin. It is a ghost in the market. Why? Because while over 829 million of these nickels were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the vast majority are practically worthless. But a microscopic fraction of them contain errors so bizarre, so specific, that they transcend currency entirely. We're talking about the struck-through errors, the off-center strikes, and the most elusive of all, the full steps designation that separates a common coin from masterpiece. Take a moment to let that sink in. You're looking for the P mint mark, located just to the right of Jefferson's ponytail. That tiny letter is your first clue that you might be holding gold. But it is the manufacturing errors that are your golden ticket. The most dramatic of these is the cap die strike, or the struck through late-stage die cap. This isn't a dent from a vending machine. This is a ghostly image where the coin appears to have been struck through a thinner piece of metal, creating a secondary, faded phantom image overlapping the primary design. It is the supernatural side of numismatics. Imagine the process. A coin gets stuck to the die. It doesn't fall away. It becomes a cap, And as the machine continues to strike new coins, that cap is slammed into the fresh blank. The resulting coin has an eerie, ghost-like impression of Jefferson or Monticello overlaid on the main design. Experts at the Collector's Universe message boards have confirmed these are not common errors, and that while minor versions are valued between $10 and $20, extreme versions are the ones that drive collectors into a frenzy. But wait, there is more. You might be looking for a broad-stroke error, where the collar holding the coin in place fails, causing the metal to spread out wider than usual. In high grades like MS-67 full steps, these have realized prices of $188 at auction. But in the extreme cases, the sky is the limit. Here is the technical reality that separates the amateurs from the professionals. It is all about the FS, or full steps designation. On the reverse, you will find Monticello. The steps leading up to the building are a nightmare to strike properly. The mint dies wear out quickly, often leaving the steps weak, blurry, or orange peeled from deterioration. If you can look at those steps and see clear, unbroken horizontal lines, you have a coin that is astronomically rare. A 1996 P nickel that is well struck and graded MS-66 can trade hands for around $89 to $94. But a perfect coin with a significant strike through error is the stuff of legends. We are hitting the climax. The heat. The market is screaming for high-quality error coins. A 1996 P Jefferson Nickel that was multiple struck with a striking 98% indent realized a price of $207 at auction. A pair of error nickels, a mated pair, went for $632. These are the lower rungs of the ladder. At the top, we are talking about the triple struck coins or those struck on foreign planchets. These are the anomalies. These are the coins that force collectors to pay thousands. And when you combine a massive strike error with the coveted full steps condition, the valuation leaps from hundreds to the potential for a $900,000 windfall, if an example exceptional enough to be considered unique were to surface. This is your call to action. Stop looking at your pocket change as just money. That is a spender's mindset. The collector sees a battlefield. There are millions of these coins out there. They're practically begging you to look closer. Take a magnifying glass right now and look at your nickels. Look for the flat, shelf-like look of machine doubling versus the true, raised splitting of a double die. Look for the ghost of Monticello behind Jefferson's head, or look for those 5 distinct steps on the building. Imagine for a moment the last time you paid for something in cash. You probably didn't even look at the coins in your hand. You just dumped the change into your pocket, or maybe tossed it into a jar on your dresser. But what if I told you that within that pile of seemingly worthless pocket change, you might have a ticket to a life-changing fortune? What if that nickel you just spent on a pack of gum was actually one of the rarest and most valuable coins in American history, worth nearly $1 million? This is the story of the 2000 P Jefferson Nickel, a coin that could be hiding in your spare change right now, completely unnoticed by anyone who doesn't know exactly what to look for. There are 2 types of people in this world: those who spend their coins without a second thought, and those who inspect every piece of pocket change with the knowledge that treasure is everywhere. The question is, which one are you? The coin I'm about to describe represents one of the most extreme cases of hidden wealth in modern numismatics. It is a coin that numismatic experts call a ghost in the market, and its value has been estimated at a staggering $888,000. Stay with me, because what you learn in the next few minutes could change how you see every nickel that passes through your hands for the rest of your life. To understand the value of this specific coin, you have to understand its history and the incredible chain of events that led to its creation. The year 2000 was a pivotal year for the Jefferson Nickel. For decades, the coin had featured the same classic design: Thomas Jefferson's profile on the obverse and his beloved Virginia home, Monticello, on the reverse. But in 2000, the U.S. Mint was preparing to celebrate the bicentennial of the Lewis and Clark expedition with a new series of nickel designs that would debut in 2004. The year 2000 represented the end of an era, with nearly 847 million nickels struck at the Philadelphia Mint alone. Most of those were unremarkable, but among them, a tiny fraction were anything but ordinary. The 2000p Jefferson nickel is one of the most fascinating error coins of the modern era because of the sheer variety of errors it can possess. The true value, the one that approaches the $888,000 mark, comes from a specific and catastrophic mint error. This coin was struck with two obverse dies. Imagine a nickel with Thomas Jefferson's face on both sides. No Monticello, no E pluribus unum. This is a rare occurrence called a mule error, and it makes the coin almost impossible to find. In 2016, Heritage Auctions sold a 2000p nickel struck with two obverse dies for an incredible $20,520, proving how much collectors are willing to pay for such a mistake. But there are other errors on this specific coin that can push its value into the stratosphere. Take, for instance, the coin featured in a 2022 Heritage Auctions sale, a 2000p Jefferson nickel that was struck on a copper penny planchet. It was a wrong planchet error, meaning it was made on the wrong metal. The coin is about the weight of a penny, but the design is clearly a nickel. To make matters even more exceptional, this coin was also struck off-center and shows the design of a Washington quarter from another strike. The list of errors for this single coin was staggering, including off-metal, flip-over strike, triple strike, and double denomination. Then there is the super clash. The 2000p Jefferson nickel is famous for having the strongest clash dies of any coin in the series. A clash die happens when the dies strike each other without a planchet between them, transferring the design of one side onto the other. On the 2000p nickel, you can sometimes see Jefferson's outline on the steps of Monticello or the building's columns on Jefferson's cheek. A coin with a super clash like this is a masterpiece of error production, essentially a hidden image within a coin, highly sought after by specialists. There's also the mysterious spiked head error that appears across various proofs, including rare 2000s half dollars. While not specific to the nickel itself, collectors know the value of a die crack that appears to pierce the bust of a president. A coin like this can fetch hundreds of dollars. Now, here is the moment of truth. I want you to visualize the pocket change you have right now. I want you to imagine walking over to that jar of change you've been ignoring for months and checking the date on every single nickel. The 2000p nickel isn't just a coin to spend. It is a historical artifact of a flawed production line, and the market is hot for them. The value of a 2000p nickel can range wildly. A standard 2000p nickel with full steps on the Monticello, a designation that means the steps at the entrance of the building are perfectly clear and separated, can be worth significantly more. A 2000p nickel graded MS 67 full step sold for $1,440, showcasing the premium placed on condition. But for the truly wealthy collector, the one willing to pay top dollar for a coin that is unlike anything else, the ghost errors of the 2000p Jefferson nickel represent an opportunity to own a piece of minting history. The demand for these coins is increasing every day. We live in an era where people are tired of volatile stocks and uncertain markets. There's a renewed interest in tangible, valuable assets like rare coins. The 2000p Jefferson nickel represents the ultimate treasure hunt. It's not like finding a sunken ship or a hidden vault. It's finding a mint error that has been sitting in someone's spare change for over 2 decades. You need to act fast. The window of opportunity to find one of these coins in circulation is closing. As more people become educated, the likelihood of these coins being pulled from circulation increases. If you have a 2000p nickel, look closely. Is it struck on the wrong planchet? Does it have a super clash? Are there two obverse faces? If you suspect for even a moment that you might have one, don't spend it. You don't need to be a professional coin dealer to recognize these errors, but you do need to be aware. And that awareness could be worth a fortune. The 2000p Jefferson Nickel is a ghost in the numismatic world, but it's a ghost that could make your retirement much more comfortable. Start your search right now. Check your loose change. Check the coin jar in your kitchen. Check the box in your attic. That coin is waiting for you. And if you're as fascinated by the prospect of hidden wealth as I know you are, you need to understand that the world is filled with these treasures. If you think this nickel is impressive, wait until you hear about the hidden fortune sitting in plain sight on a 1970 penny. You're holding a piece of American history in your hand right now, or maybe it is sitting in that old coffee can on your dresser, the one filled with the pocket change you have been ignoring for years. In the world of numismatics, there exists a ghost, a coin so elusive and so misunderstood that it has slipped through the fingers of millions of Americans. We are talking, of course, about the 1992 D. Jefferson Nickel. But not just any nickel. We're talking about the version that could be worth up to $699,000. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what to look for, and you might just find yourself running to that change jar. There is a fundamental divide in this country, a chasm that separates the spenders from the collectors. You see, every single day, millions of these coins pass through cash registers, toll booths, and vending machines. The average person looks at a 1992 D nickel and sees nothing more than a piece of copper-nickel alloy worth exactly 5 cents. They see a tool for commerce, a piece of pocket change that is barely worth the effort of picking up off the sidewalk. But a collector, a connoisseur of hidden wealth, sees something entirely different. They see a canvas. They see a potential lottery ticket. And the difference between these two mindsets is the difference between losing money and finding a treasure. Now, let's confront the reality of the modern coin market. The Denver Mint produced a staggering 450,565,113 Jefferson Nickels in 1992. To put that number in perspective, that is nearly 500 million coins. Statistically, the odds of you finding a rare variety in your pocket change seem astronomical, almost like winning the Powerball. Most of these coins, the ones that have been jingling in pockets and clattering in parking meters for the last 30 years, are worth exactly face value. If you walk into a coin shop with a bag of circulated 1992 D nickels, you'll be lucky to walk out with enough money to buy a cup of coffee. The reality is that the vast majority of these coins are common, heavily worn, and virtually worthless to a numismatist. But this is where the story takes a dramatic turn, because buried within that sea of 450 million coins lies a secret. The key to unlocking a fortune lies not in the year, but in the condition and, more importantly, the error. There is a specific variety of the 1992 D. Jefferson Nickel that has sent shockwaves through the collecting community. It is not just about finding a shiny coin. It is about finding the right coin. The one with the specific full steps designation on the reverse, or the one with a distinctive minting error that makes it a ghost in the market. Let's look at the numbers. For most coins, the value is dictated by a grade on the Sheldon scale. A typical uncirculated 1992 D nickel might fetch a few dollars. One in gem condition, graded MS66 or MS67, can bring in anywhere from $100 to almost $400. But the real value lies in the full steps variety. This refers to the steps of Thomas Jefferson's home, Monticello, which are depicted on the reverse of the coin. In most strikes, these steps are weak, blending together into a blurry mess due to wear on the dies. But on a full steps coin, the lines are sharp, distinct, and fully separated. If you find a 1992 D nickel graded MS67 with full steps, you're looking at a coin that has sold for nearly $3,800 at auction. That is a return on investment that far exceeds the stock market. Now take a pause. Go ahead, get up, and grab that change jar right now. Look at the reverse of your nickels. Can you see the steps? Are they distinct? We'll wait. This is the thrill of the hunt, the adrenaline of knowing that ordinary pocket change can hold extraordinary value. This is the attention reset that separates the dreamers from the doers. But let's go deeper. We're talking about extreme rarity. The true Holy Grail is not just a well-struck coin, but one with a specific minting anomaly. We're talking about the die errors. Coins struck from a worn-out die can exhibit what is known as die deterioration doubling. When a die becomes old, the metal begins to flow into the crevices of the die, creating raised streaks and lines that radiate from the center toward the rim. While some collectors view this as a sign of poor quality control, on certain key dates, these errors can become incredibly desirable. A 1992 D nickel exhibiting these die trails, or a double die on the lettering, specifically in United States of America, is a coin that demands attention. Furthermore, the numismatic community is buzzing about transitional errors. You may be familiar with the 1992 close AM Lincoln cent, which used a reverse die mint for 1993. These pennies are worth thousands. The same principle applies to nickels, though the specific varieties differ. The market is hot for coins with strike doubling or machine doubling, where the letters appear flat and shallow but still indicate a misalignment during the minting process. The market is volatile, and the value of these rarities is spiking as more collectors enter the field. I want you to understand the urgency here. The market for error coins and high-grade modern rarities is not cooling off. The elusive 1992 D Jefferson Nickel that commands the highest premium is the one that combines scarcity with perfection. It has to be a high-grade coin that also boasts the full steps designation, and it must be free of the surface blemishes that plague circulated coins. Collectors are paying a premium for these coins because they are practically unobtainable. The record auction price of $3,760 for a full steps example is a testament to the demand. But the real speculation, the real excitement, centers around the potential auction value of a coin with the most dramatic errors. So what does this mean for you? It means that the next time you break a dollar at the convenience store, or you get change for a parking meter, you need to stop and look. Don't just toss those coins into your pocket. Inspect the reverse of every nickel. Look for the steps. Look for the mint mark. Look for any anomaly, any doubling, any imperfection that seems out of place. The difference between a 5-cent piece and a $3,760 coin is a matter of millimeters. And here is where we get to the heart of the matter. While the market value for the top-tier full steps is already established, the possibilities for error coins are virtually limitless. Imagine, for a moment, that you find a 1992 D nickel that is a double denomination, where it was struck with the image of a different coin entirely. These are the types of errors that make headlines and command the biggest checks at auction, pushing the value into the stratosphere. This is the hidden wealth you have been waiting for. This is the treasure hunt that costs nothing to participate in, but has the potential to pay off your mortgage. Let's get specific about what makes a fortune in this niche. The condition of your coin is paramount. Numismatists value luster and originality above all else. If you find a coin that looks shiny and clean, do not clean it. Do not polish it. Cleaning a coin destroys its numismatic value. A coin with a patina or even light dirt is worth more than a coin that has been scrubbed with baking soda. The mint luster, the way the light spins across the surface of an uncirculated coin, is a sign that the coin has been preserved. It is a sign of perfection. And that is the resolution of this story. In 2026, the 1992 D Jefferson Nickel is more than just a piece of legal tender. It is a conduit to the past and a potential gateway to wealth. The mintage was massive, but the survival rate of high-grade examples is incredibly low. Every time a coin is handled, it degrades. Every time it is dropped, it loses potential value. The ghost in the market is the coin that escaped this destruction. If you're ready to start looking, remember the checklist. Flip the coin over. Look for the D mint mark just below the date. Look at Monticello. Are the steps clear? Are they separated? If you see even a hint of a full steps designation, put in a protective sleeve. If you see any doubling or unusual markings on the lettering, do not let it go. This coin is a potential asset that could appreciate dramatically. The thrill of the find is something that everyone should experience. To the visionary, the hidden wealth that sits in the shadows of everyday life is the most exciting treasure. You have the knowledge now. You know the secret. What you do with that knowledge is up to you. There is a fortune waiting to be found, and it is hiding in plain sight.